welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate and I'm a second year medical student from DMSF. But our second semester just ended a few weeks ago, so basically next school year is going to be my third year in medical school, hopefully. So for today's video, yes, I add coffee sa akong Milo, ha. So for today's video, it's going to be about how I study general pathology. There's going to be two parts for this video since I'll be dividing it into lecture and laboratory. I'll be adding some of my studying tips in general, guys. And also, I cannot assure you that this might work for you since may kanya-kanya tayong ways to study and it depends na lang kung saan ka talaga hiyang. Akong Tagalog accent. Bisaya argid ko haud. Sorry, guys. So what is general pathology? It concentrates on the origins, pathogenesis, and mechanisms of changes that occur in diseases which affect the human being. This was the book that we used, The Pathologic Basis of Disease 9th edition. But I've heard that there's a 10th edition now, so grab your copy. Oh, Basta bugat ni siya. This is heavy, mabigat, as ng bugata. This book is divided into two sections, general and the systemic pathology. For the general pathology part, this is very important because it serves as a backbone, core, basic knowledge that you should remember to understand the pathology of different diseases that you will encounter in the future. For the systemic pathology part, so per chapter dito, iba't ibang organ systems ang dinidiscuss. For example, which is the heart, it starts by discussing a little bit of the anatomy and physiology of the heart, just like a review from our subjects back in first year, so that when we encounter the diseases, it will be less difficult for us to understand it. That's all for the introduction, guys. Let's start. The first thing to do is to pray. Before I start studying, I usually pray. I encourage you to pray for everyone, not just for yourself and your friends and family, but also for everyone studying. Pray for guidance, patience, concentration, and understanding. Remember that studying in medicine is not a competition, because in the future you will all be doctors and will be relying on each other. So as much as possible, help one another, and for me, the best way will be helping them through my prayers. Next, understand what you are reading. This is very important because when you understand what you are reading, it will be more easy to remember it. So when I read, I usually start by just reading and highlighting like a paragraph, and then when I read it again, I understand and then also memorize it. I usually use pens to encircle or underline the words when I'm reading it again. If you encounter words that you cannot understand, just search for its meaning because it would help you understand more on that topic. After that, I usually write its meaning beside or near the word. Okay lang, i-judge lang ko ninyo. O, di ko kabalo itong blunted, consolidate, o bigats. Bigats? Ano na? Mga teenager? You can use different highlighters. So now, I'm using 6 highlighters. Maybe it's too much, but I'm kind of used to it now. So, makita niyo ako libro, adyo ko nag-highlight ng color ko. I have green for highlighting diseases, blue for the headings, subheadings, numbers, days, weeks, months, or years, and then the dark pink for highlighting important terms, and next is orange for the structures or signs and symptoms. So I usually use this orange, but it's not available now. Next is yellow for the function or also important terms, and lastly the pastel pink for the genes and also microorganisms. It's still up to you if you want to use highlighters, but it really works for me. The disadvantage is that it takes a bit of your time for highlighting, especially when you have 6. Next is writing. I really recommend having a notebook where you can write your notes while reading. But when you are in second year, there's a lot of subjects and activities and you might not have the time to write. But if you have enough time, like in holidays or long weekends, then I suggest that you write. So I only write those that are very important to remember for the topic. During comprehensive exams, I really don't have the time to read all of the chapters again in the book, so having your notebook could be really helpful. Or write in your books if you don't want to have notebooks. This depends on you if you still want to make your book look neat and tidy, but if you're just like me that doesn't care at all, I suggest that you write. So I write beside the text so it's easy for me to locate what's important. Next, take time to look at the figures and pictures in the book. Reading while looking at the figures will really help you understand more on what you're reading, because you can see what structures they're talking about. Also, the diagrams will help you understand complex processes. Also, take time to differentiate diseases. Take note what are their similarities and differences, because some diseases are very much alike and they just differ a little bit, like in their signs, symptoms, or in their morphology. Next, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask your friends or classmates whenever you feel like you did your best understanding it but you just can't comprehend it. Just ask them if what are their thoughts about this part, or if they have the same or different understanding with you. So, remember, pigid na ko niya, mga tana ko ba, say pasabot ani, niya, explainan ko nila, pero paghapit na ganing exams or quiz na unya, kanang, ay sila, girl, kailangan yun di mo balaan ang meaning sa tanan, wa na tayo oras, i-memorize na lang na, girl. So, ito, I love my friends, I miss you all, see you soon. Next, make use of the PowerPoints used by your teachers. Sometimes I use it as a guide while reading books because I would know where they focused more on a topic. Also, there are transcripts which are summarizations from the book. I really appreciate my classmates making transcripts. You're the best. But it's really hard for me because I'll be spending time trying to understand it, and still reading your book is your best option. Next, know your teachers. This tip is actually helpful whenever you are very loaded with long quizzes, return demos, or moving quizzes. Try to ask your seniors about your teachers. What's their style in questioning, or where do they focus more on the topic? Some teachers love to ask or take questions from the tables. Some would like to ask more on the genetic alterations or its defects. Some would also like to have both neither on their choices, so it's very important that you've understood and compared the diseases. And lastly, quality than quantity. This tip is quite useful for me since I was in first year. There are chapters that I haven't even finished my first reading, but I spend most of my time on the second reading. So if my evaluation exams are tomorrow, I try to read some of the pages that I haven't read, but then I would stop until 5 p.m. because 5 p.m. and onwards, I spend my time on the reading. I don't care if I haven't finished my first reading, because what's the point of finishing the chapter but you cannot even remember what you have read? So my advice is still to really try to finish reading the chapter, but if the exams are tomorrow, I suggest that you focus reading again from the start. Hi! Advertisement sa takajut ha. Sorry, pero di yun na siya ma-skip. So, I would like to promote my friends and family sa ilang mga business. Ibutang na ako siya dito sa screen. So, support ta guys ha. Salamat ka ayong. This subject is really hard and the chapters are quite long. So, my advice is that you really read in advance before the semester starts. Welcome to second year! That's all for my video. See you on my next video. Thank you.